All right, so overlanding trips and everything, extended camping trips, not all fun and glorious. Hey Matt, what's up? We were actually
mobile monitoring and 0.
ham radio on still. We are sitting at a laundromat waiting for our so this is Richard or Matt? Blue Ridge. Anyways, oh Adam, hey, forgot you're running the show there. So we are at the laundromat washing 2 weeks of sweaty feet out of the sleeping bags, resetting here in Colorado Springs. And I have my daughter, oldest daughter, Aubrey.
Hi.
She's coming here to do some chores with me. And we thought while we're waiting for the spin cycle to go, that we would chat about the trip so far, and to catch everybody up. Here, you hold this. My career is moving me from the interior of Alaska down to Southern California, and we are camping the entire way, or as long as we can stand the heat. Hey Tony, so so far we're a little over 2 weeks into the trip. We left on July 15th and drove out of Fairbanks, and we stopped just outside of Tok in Alaska, about an hour and a half before we come to the Canadian Alaska border. No, so we are actually sitting in, since Tony asked, this is the Ram 1500 Eco Diesel, and the engine is running, and we have the AC blowing, so you can probably hear the AC, but that's it. Super smooth, quiet. We'll come back to the fuel economy later, so you have to hang on. And we may save this interview, package it up. I'll see if I can rip the audio out and publish it as a podcast episode, since I'm way behind on that. But going back, we crossed into Canada, and it was no problem, even though I was traveling with firearms. You just fill out the appropriate forms in triplicate, pay the $25 Canadian. There were a bunch of my friends who were interested on what it's like to travel with firearms in Canada. And yeah, I know, Larry, I got to get a new podcast out. I'm way, way behind. But it was easy. You just fill it out. We were using it just to travel with the firearms in transit between locations. So you have to keep them concealed and out of the way. So we've got the cases, and they're locked up. So no problems there. And we've got a couple cans of bear spray spread out throughout the truck and in the tent for bear protection. You ever worried about bears while we were camping?
No.
No. We did see some bears.
Yes.
Remember how many bears we saw? You got a tally somewhere in here. What's the count at?
20?
20 bears. And that's a combination of grizzly bears and, brown bears and black bears. Yeah. Some of them were really close. I don't know if I've posted all the pictures. I should probably go back and do that. Some of them were like right there on the side of the road. They would have closed the distance in a second if they had wanted to. A lot of them sows with cubs, just chowing down on big grubs and plants and stuff. We did some camping. What was your favorite spot to camp in? All right, Matt, we'll see you soon when we get to California, and I'm looking forward to our first adventure down in Baja. So, my wife, you looking forward to going to Baja, see Mexico? You've never been to Mexico?
Nope.
Nope. Stay on the beach, eat some fish tacos.
Sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. All right. What else?
I don't know.
Any favorite spots? In Canada, a couple of the places we stayed at were just pullouts and gravel lots or whatever on the
Or a truck stop.
Alaska Highway. Yeah, that was in Montana. And it's super convenient out there. You can do Tony. You're super isolated. You get time to each other. One of the things that we've found with all the no burn restrictions, we got a propane fire pit. Have you enjoyed that one?
Yes.
Yeah. You don't smell like campfire when it's all said and done, and you just turn it on. You got a full-blown fire. You don't have to wait for it to build up. And then when you're done, yeah, you don't have to babysit the fire to go to bed. You can just shut the valve and fire turns off. It's made by Camp Chef. Cools down about 15 minutes, and it's got a little travel case. About 18 inches big, maybe 15.
About the size of
It's about the size of
oven.
a Dutch oven, and very convenient and actually cheaper. Unless you're just pulling firewood out of the deadfall from the woods, bundles of firewood are fairly expensive. But the propane tank, you can swap out a Blue Rhino bottle for $18, $19. That's way cheaper than a couple bundles of firewood for the same amount of burn time. And what else? We've also stayed at some of the
National parks.
Yeah, we've been hitting the national parks big time. What national parks have we hit so far? Start with the Canadian ones.
Canadian ones. Jasper, Banff, and then Glacier.
Glacier National Park in
Glacier
Montana.
National Park
And then we went across Montana,
to
stayed at a sketchy truck stop campsite.
Yes. Yep.
And we played gut pile in the tent.
Mm-hmm.
And then to North Dakota. What was in North Dakota?
I don't
It's
remember.
right there. You had it.
This?
Yeah. Who started all the national parks?
Oh, Theodore Roosevelt National Park.
What all do we see there? So North Dakota, there's not a whole lot going on in North Dakota.
No, there's not. It's just prairie.
Yeah, there's a lot of prairie. But we figured there's one national park, and it just happens to be just inside the border on the western side of North Dakota, which was convenient. We didn't want to have to go through any more than North Dakota than we had to.
Yeah.
But what all do we see there?
Prairie dogs, bison, deer, bunnies, horses.
Yeah. It's cool, though. That I'm glad to see that there's a national park devoted to Roosevelt, because he is such a conservation activist, or he was. And he's really the reason we have national parks.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate he got stuck with that one, but it was his ranch. It's what he loved. So it's good that that one is named after him.
Yeah.
Anyways, we went from North Dakota to where?
South Dakota.
And what did we do?
We went to Wind Cave National Park. It was really cool. We went through the cave.
Yeah. What was special about the Cave Wind National Park?
The boxwork.
Yeah. So it doesn't have stalactites and stalagmites like a lot of the caves that you hear about, like Carlsbad Caverns or something like that. It's very long. It's a long network of tunnel and cave system. It said 148 miles of cave. That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
My timer just went off. All right, we're gonna shut this one down. Gotta go move some laundry around, and then we'll resume a live video where we left off. Cave Wind National Park. All right.
Earth sinuses.
The Earth Sinus Park. All right. We'll see you in a minute.
You're listening to a 4x4 Radio Network podcast.
So we left off talking about Wind Cave National Park in South Dakota.
Otherwise known as the Earth's sinuses.
Why did we call it the Earth Sinuses?
We called it the Earth sinuses because the boxwork looked like the inside of a caribou. What?
Well, inside of an animal's
Animal
sinus
sinus.
cavity. We learned it from our hunting experiences in Alaska. And when you clean out the skull for a Euro mount, what all that looks like. And what else was unique about the Wind Cave National Park?
Frostwork, the popcorn.
Well, they said it was a barometric cave. So the airflow in and out of the cave is highly dependent on the barometric pressure. So if there's a low pressure system, like weather's going to be changing around us, then the air would blow out of the hole at Wind Cave National Park. And if it was a high pressure, like a nice sunny day like today would be a high pressure system,
It would go in.
the wind would go in. So they said the first non-Native American Indian people that found it, said he put his head down there by the hole and it sucked his hat right in to the cave because it was blowing with enough force. So the winds coming in and out of the tunnel can reach 15 miles an hour. It's not super windy, but that's definitely noticeable.
Yeah. And it's a dry cave. There's not very much water.
Yeah, there wasn't very much moisture, unlike a lot of the caves that we've been in the past. All right, so what else was near Cave Wind? Wind Cave? Cave Wind.
Cave.
Wind Cave National Park.
Yes.
Not a very good name. Somebody should fix that. What else was nearby there? Well, we left from there and met up with some family.
Yeah.
Some cousins from the Chicago area. And then we went and camped at the Badlands National Park. No.
Wait. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we went to Mount Rushmore first.
Yes. We camped. No, we went to the Badlands the next night.
Andy, hey, which national park is it you were going to? To Wind Cave, I assume, since that's what we were just talking about. Anyways, for those going to Mount Rushmore, we went late in the day because that was just how it worked out.
It was really cool. There was a show, and they lit up Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, so check for times. But we saw one of the National Parks Rangers gave a presentation, a dramatic reading of the Star Spangled Banner, and kind of a historical talk on the history of how the 1812 war and how the Star Spangled Banner was authored. It was really cool. And then they lit up the faces of Mount Rushmore. You remember all the presidents who was on Mount Rushmore?
Mm-hmm.
Check your memory.
George Washington.
Yep.
Thomas Jefferson,
Yep.
Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln.
And which presidential numbers were those? What order? Ooh, that's a tough one. Huh?
Washington on
Jefferson was
3.
number 3.
Lincoln was number 16.
Yep.
I don't remember what Theodore Roosevelt was.
I think it was 26 or 27.
Yeah, one of those.
Anyways, what else? What have we been doing at all the national parks? Because a lot of people that may listen to this podcast or watch the video may be wondering, what their kids can do at the national parks besides just be drug around like some luggage.
We have been doing the Junior Ranger badges. At Mount Rushmore, they have one too.
Yeah, all the national parks have a Junior Ranger program, and you go up to one of the visitor centers and get the Junior Ranger book, and it has some activities, some educational activities that can be completed during the visit to the national park. So we found out that Yellowstone is now charging for the Junior Ranger guidebooks, but at every park that we've been to when we've gone, those have been free. And then once you finish the book, what happens?
When you finish the book, you go to a park ranger and they sign it off, and you say the Junior Ranger
Oath.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what happens?
And then you get your badge and
Yeah, you get a little plastic badge. So we've been racking up quite the collection of those.
Yep.
Got to keep them all safe.
Yeah.
So, what happened after? Oh, Badlands. We went to Badlands.
Yes.
What did you think about Badlands National Park?
It was really cool. The rocks, you can climb them. You can climb the rocks.
Yeah, that's one of the unique things. A lot of the national parks, they really want you to stay off of everything to preserve it. But
the Badlands is eroding so much that climbing on them is not going to affect it at all.
yeah, so
very much.
all the damage that the groups do when they climb on the formations, they're not even really rocks. A lot of them are just dirt formations or sandstone. Said one good rainstorm resets all of that, washes away the impact that people are doing to it, and then they're good to go. Restores them, but they are shrinking. I don't think they will disappear in any of our lifetimes, but maybe in a century or two, the Badlands will look remarkably different. But it is such a cool thing to see, because the prairie lands of South Dakota are just completely interrupted, and some of the quotes that are made about the Badlands are pretty remarkable. That's one I'd highly recommend folks check out.
Yeah.
So that little corner of South Dakota has so much to offer that I never knew about, really. I mean, I heard about all these places, but hadn't been to in a very, very long time, since I was too young to remember.
Actually, we've started wanting to go to all the national parks when my sister and I got our national park journals, and it has all 59 national parks, so we've been trying to hit more national parks on this trip than we anticipated.
Yeah. We've hit, was that 4 so far? Anyways, let's follow up with the trip and then we'll close back out so far. So we went from South Dakota. Oh, we did the Crazy Horse Monument.
Yes.
That one is really cool. Holds a particularly special place for me because the battalion that I just left was the Opahay Battalion, paying homage to Crazy Horse and what he did for the Lakota Sioux tribes. Bless you.
Thank you. They do a laser light show at
Yeah, we went back at night and they do a laser light show on the monument. It's still under construction. I guess they've been working on it for about 20 years. It'll be under construction for the foreseeable future. Yeah, 20 years, that's a long time.
Wow.
It takes a lot of work to carve an, what do they say, 83-foot tall face of Crazy Horse. That's just the face, not even the horse or his torso or anything. Anyways, that's a lot of work. That one's going to be going for a long time till it's done. Then we left from South Dakota and basically sprinted through Wyoming. We really didn't stop. Drove right through Cheyenne was our planned spot to stop. We decided we'll just go ahead and push on, get down to Rocky Mountain National Park. Kind of borders Estes Park in Colorado. And we got a campsite down there. Not my favorite, but the kids enjoyed it. We stayed at a lot of the campsites that we checked were all full. We were going into the 4th of July weekend here, so everybody and their mom was out camping.
Yep. It was a Yogi the Bear themed campsite.
Yeah, it was one of the Jellystone places where, I mean, it seemed like a summer camp for parents to take their kids to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lots of activities to do around the camp. Fire engine rides, there was an arcade thing, playground.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was also the most expensive campsite I had ever paid for. Not one, I don't think we'll be going back to something like that again. We've got plenty of playgrounds everywhere else. We don't need to go camping next to a playground, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what was the cool thing that we did there at Rocky Mountain National Park?
We drove the highest paved road.
Yeah. The highest paved highway in the world.
Yeah.
It crossed over a little over 12,000 foot of elevation. We did a short hike and decided that was enough since we've been living at 400 foot elevation for the last 3 years. Hiking at 12,000 feet without any time to acclimate, not a great idea.
Yeah.
It felt like somebody was standing on our chest while we're breathing through a straw, trying to do normal activities. I don't have my alpine lungs anymore. Then what else did we do? Oh, then we came down here, and right now we're in Colorado Springs visiting my dad. And as you see here, resetting all the laundry. We've got get all the stink out of the sleeping bags. They smell good now.
Yeah.
And getting ready to load back up. And from here, we're going to go to Moab, Utah. We've lined up a rental Jeep from Barlow Adventures. Nina Barlow runs an operation there in Moab and also in Sedona, Arizona. Turns out the operations in Moab are still running the JKs, whereas the ones in Sedona are now, they've switched the fleet over to the new Jeep JLs. But I'm looking forward to that. Getting a well-built JK on 35s, and we'll go hit some of the mild trails, and also some of the national parks in that area. There's 5 national parks in Utah, so we're going to go hit Arches and Canyonlands, at least with the rental, I think is the plan. Try and zip through there. We're gonna have an early start to the day, and then let's see, there's Zion and Bryce. Let's see, I think that may be it. Oh, the Capitol Reef National Park. That's one I'd never even really heard of, but like everything else, go to Instagram and check out the pictures that people have taken in certain locations and determine whether or not it's worth the visit. And there's some beautiful pictures of Capitol Reef National Park in Utah, so we're gonna go check that out. And then after Utah, head through the Silver State, Nevada, drive through Las Vegas and head into Barstow. And that will complete our trip. I don't know if we're gonna go to Arizona or not. We've got some family in Arizona, so we may save that for, instead of a real quick trip, we may save that one where we can spend a little more time. What's been your favorite thing so far, Aubrey?
The Badlands National Park.
Badlands. Why is that?
Because we were with our cousins, and I turned out to have a lot of fun climbing the rocks.
Yeah. Make sure to bring sunscreen when you go out there. There's not a lot of shade to hide from things. And it does get fairly warm. It wasn't too bad when we were there.
Yeah.
And support some of the local businesses. There's some good stuff there. Get some good food. We haven't done as much cooking on our own as we have in the past. We've been trying to support some of the local businesses, and really, since we've been isolated in Alaska for so long, try to hit some of the restaurants we have missed out in forever, like Chick-fil-A. We still haven't been to a Chipotle.
Yeah.
Mommy's pretty excited to have that one. But most of them have been local restaurants instead of chain ones.
Yeah.
And I think that's it for now. Is there something you wish we had done different on this trip? Differently?
No.
No? It's just been a great, perfect adventure, huh?
Yes.
Have you enjoyed driving around in the Ram versus the Jeep?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the Jeep, we were all cramped, and then we grew.
Yeah.
That changed.
Everybody got, well, the kids got larger anyways.
I grew
From the last
taller.
trip. Yeah. Between the last big overland trip in the Jeep and now, Aubrey here has grown 10 inches at least. At least. Probably more.
Yeah.
We'll have to measure it on Grandpa's board at the house. But the Ram truck has been doing pretty awesome. I've been keeping a running total on the fuel economy. So right now, looking at the dash, we have driven 4,877.3 miles with an average miles per gallon. This is a mix of between pulling the trailer, not pulling the trailer, but a mixed combined miles per gallon of 18.9. And that's in the 2017 Ram 1500 with the Eco Diesel with the bench row here, so we can seat 6, and it's been very comfortable. We've been able to make some miles on the highways a lot faster because, 450 mile range between fuel stops. That's pretty awesome. Plus, the diesel prices have been pretty consistent across the U.S., Canada, and across the lower 48 in Alaska. And so that's been nice. We haven't had to like really search out to get the best deals, but it has been consistently just a couple cents more expensive than. Late's got a lot of makeup on. More paint. But it's been great. I've been glad to have this, and also have had really zero maintenance issues. But I think that's it.
Yeah.
We'll wrap this up. Anyways, be sure to subscribe to the 4x4 podcast at the4x4podcast.com or in iTunes, probably iTunes where most people find us. But we're now on Stitcher and Spotify too. So a lot of people are finding, I guess, the most podcasts are being downloaded from Spotify right now from anywhere else. And be sure, if you enjoy it or if you enjoy it, tell your friends. If you want to motivate us to do more podcasts, send us hate mail. I sometimes need that motivation. But I'm entering a chapter in life where I may have some more time, a very consistent, predictable schedule, which will be nice. So that's it for now. We'll talk to y'all later. Okay, bye.
Bye.